Hey guys,
Hi.
I'm Melissa.
I'm Patty.
And we are
El Efecto Podcast.
As you can tell, we're in the studio, so that means we have a guest.
Yes, and funny story, I've actually kind of known this person, of this person for years, but we actually just met for the first time in person today. So we're really excited to bring someone special. He's an artist. He's Latino. He is just about to take over. So make sure you tune in and you follow him, and you're gonna get to know him a little bit. But our special guest is Meta4.
Yo, ¿cómo estamos, mi gente? What's up, everybody? Thank you guys for having me here on your podcast. Such an amazing place.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes. Shout out to are you his producer?
Yeah. Shout out to Blue City. He's in the building, too.
His manager for hitting us up and connecting us.
Yeah.
No, this is sick. Thank you so much. But yeah, we kind of just want to start off with you. Kind of just introduce yourself, let people know who you are, and just tell us a little about your background, history. How did you get to where you are?
Well, first of all, like you guys said, my name is Meta4. I'm a Hispanic rapper, Latino rapper or whatever, or reggaetonero artist. I'm gonna just say that, Latino artist that does mostly right now just Spanish music, but at the same time I also do English. I started with doing hip hop and stuff like that, but started transitioning into the Latin world with all this new wave that's going on. And yeah, I'm from Inglewood, California. As we were just laughing because she's actually been my neighbor for the whole time. Since I moved to that part of Inglewood or whatever, we've been neighbors. And but it's funny because we just met in person or actually told each other our names. You know what I mean?
No, literally.
But we used to always say hi and everything. But yeah, I've been doing music for such a long time. But just perfecting my craft, you know what I mean? And then right now is a point where I'm just so confident in what I'm doing with all the Spanish stuff. Like I said, it's a wave that I think I just saw, and I was just this is me, you know what I mean? And I love hip hop, but at hip hop, I think I got to a ceiling where I was just okay, I don't think I could do more, maybe because of me being Latino, or you know what I mean? But we always hit a peak, right? And then all this Latin stuff started coming around, and I was just wait, that's me. Because before I used to think the reggaetoneros were a little fresita and stuff like that, you know what I mean?
Just respect them.
I know. My little brother, he's always been so about the reggaeton, you know what I mean? He used to always go to the clubs, even to I guess when they had them the one nights, you know what I mean? The one night reggaeton or whatever. And he used to love that. He used to tell me you need to see what's going on over here. And finally, around a little bit before the pandemic, he started showing me all these things, and then he showed me Te Boté, which is that song that basically I would say that got this whole thing really moving or whatever. And I saw it, and I saw the video, and I was just okay, finally I see somebody there's something that's me, you know what I mean? I'm crazy. I do it all, you know what I mean? I dress completely different than everybody else or whatever. I look different when I walk into a room, and I was these people are doing that, and they're making it look cool for us Latinos, you know what I mean? So I was just it's time to represent, you know what I mean? So I was just okay, let's do it.
Yep, love that. Well, you kind of talked a little bit already about kind of where you grew up and whatnot, but who were you before Meta4? Literally before the music, growing up, who were you? I
was a very artsy kid. I was never really into video games, so I would always be I would always have some type of music device, you know what I mean? If it was a CD player or a MP3
Do you know what
player.
that is?
I still know what that is.
A boombox, you know. But those MP3 players, I used to always have music. I was very passionate about music. And the funny thing is that even when I was younger, I have so I'm Mexican and Guatemalan, right? My Mexican side of my family, a lot of my tios and stuff like that, they're in bandas. And so one of my tios that lives here or whatever, he's a singer in a banda. And I used to love music so much that I was I want to do that. You know what I mean? Because I didn't know what I wanted to do with music, and I was just seeing, and I was trying to replicate what I would see. So I would sing corridos and stuff with my uncle and stuff. And then that's when I found hip hop, and I started loving hip hop, and I started being able to compose music, compose songs and stuff like that. But before, I'm also a very like alien nerd. You know what I mean? Like, well, I'm a like a paranormal nerd too. Like, so I don't know. Like, I was just always the artsy like crazy kid that didn't fit in with their family. You know what I mean? Because their family, maybe like we know like sometimes like our Latin families are like super one track minded. You know what I mean? So like I was definitely that person in the family where it's like, okay, like I made them see things differently. You know what I mean? Or had to fight to like for my own I guess expression, you know what I mean, self-expression. Because I mean, I love doing the trends, and I love also like making trends. You know what I mean? So there was times where like things went from being super baggy to like skinny, and they were like, what the. You know what I mean? Like, what happened there? You know what I mean? And then it goes right back into like from skinny to baggy, whatever. It's just like, I guess that's who I was. I was just like this, and I guess the same. Like you can see it like in my music, or you can see it in what I do now, whatever. That I'm still like this kid who's just wants to see the world. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's who I was, I guess, or who I am.
No, I love that. And you hit on like a hot button. I had to like take a sip because you were like, sometimes, you know, our community, I love being Latina, but they see the world in black and white sometimes. And if you go against the grain, you're seen as other, and it's like, no, that's not good. But like you said, representation, because there are people out there that probably are being held back by their family and closeted and not being able to be themselves. But like, I love that now you have a platform and you're like, I don't give two Fs.
Yeah.
Like, I am who I am, and you put that in your music. And literally, like, I don't even know what else to say. Like, literally, you are who you are.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
that's, like, beautiful to see.
Yeah, and so, I mean, sometimes, like, our families don't see it, you know what I mean? Because, like we said, like, they have their ideas of stuff. But, like, if you are truly yourself, like, you're not going to change. You're like, that's who you were going to be. And especially, like, if you're pure, you know what I mean? Like, okay, like, if you're crazy and you're doing some crazy shit, like, on the side. If you're just doing something that's, like, that you can't even say, like, oh, you can't back it up. You know what I mean? Like, at least the stuff that I was trying to do was, like, stuff that was for expression, because I knew that I like this. I like looking a certain way. I like expressing myself a certain way. And not only that, but, like, I'm a product of this. Like, I grew up in this. Like, yes, I'm Latino, but, like, even when I was pushing, like, hip-hop to a T, even now, even when I'm doing this, like, Latino stuff or whatever, like, Latin music, like, I still feel like what I bring to the table is the hip-hop of it. Like, that real pure hip-hop, because to me, hip-hop is what brought me up. Like, I lived through the codes of hip-hop. Like, I lived through the laws that I've read and sang, you know what I mean? Like, so it's just like, that's what I wanted to show. And maybe sometimes like Familia Latina they don't know that because they've never experienced that, you know what I mean? But what's going on here, especially what we're doing right now, is like a whole new world for Latinos, you know what I mean? Like, now we are in charge. Yep. Now we're being able to talk. Now we're going to be able to, like, show people, like, this is who we are, and we are the representation of what we do, you know? So I think that's, like, what is going on right now, like,
Clip
moving
that.
forward.
Yeah.
No, that was so good.
Yeah. I know, like, I remember, like, when we first started, the first thing, my parents are a little younger than Patty's, but even then my dad was kind of like, well, what are you going to talk about? What are you going to bring up? You should not say this and that. I'm like, Dad, I'm going to bring up what I want to bring up. And then my mom too, like, are you going to be careful? Like, oh my God. I'm like, so it's just being that, like, they're a little more close-minded to, like, what we're doing now, or, like, the way that they see the world now. Like, even with Bad Bunny, like, we enjoy Bad Bunny. We love him.
Girl,
and like, yeah.
Fuck
and then,
Kendall Jenner.
And I was going to bring that up. But what do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about this, like, Benito?
Of
like,
Ben. No, yeah, now he's Ben. Honestly, at first I thought it was a PR stunt. I was like, that is so smart.
Right.
Because the Kardashians have kind of been out of it for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw this thing on TikTok, and someone was like, oh, I think, she was like, hear me out. I think that Kendall Jenner, like, is confused about her sexuality.
Oh, I saw that.
And Bad Bunny has come out as queer, and she was like, there's been a trend where, like, closeted women will date queer men before they come out. So I was like, that could be something. But I literally think, like, the devil works hard but Kris Jenner
works harder.
Like,
Always.
Nah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, that's how I see things too. Like, it's hard to not see things in like marketing what now. Like, especially like when we do it too. Like when like we know, okay, like if we post this, like it's gonna go this way. You know what I mean? But with that, I'm just like, I think it's for me. I like it, like that they're together. The reason why, because like from all the like Kardashian Jenners or whatever, like Kendall's my favorite. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay.
Like she's just like I don't know. She's just like more natural. Just like the more that it seems like more
like
down
real.
to earth.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think for him, like it works. Like he's like so big, so like. To be able to date or be with somebody, like I think that would be his only like real person, you know what I mean? That can be. I mean, yeah, we like the ex-girlfriend. What was her name?
Gabriela.
Yeah, we like Gabriela.
We don't know. He's a womanizer. She might still. They're not
They
they
might still be
there.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know.
Or they can be in an open relationship.
No, apparently
They've been
that's
saying
like
that for a
that's like what's
while.
happening.
Yeah.
But honestly, I'm like, I love his music. I love him as an
Yeah.
artist. I literally not just his music, but he's truly an artist. He gives no fucks. He will wear whatever the fuck he wants to wear.
Yeah.
He's unapologetically him. And I think that's my favorite thing. And I think that's also why I love your music and I kind of gravitated, even just like what you post, because that's been like one of my missions, just being unapologetically myself. Because going back to growing up in a Latino household, like I was always, oh, you're like, as a woman, like, don't talk back. You shouldn't speak your mind. One thing about me, baby girl, I will always speak my mind. I don't give a fuck who you are.
Right.
Like, and a veces, like, salgo mal, but it is what it is.
Yeah, you have to say your piece. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, because it's just like the more times that you don't say it, it's like then you're gonna the following day you're gonna be like, damn, I should have said that, or like I should have done that. Like, and I've gone through experiences like that of like things that I've been like, damn, like why didn't I do it? You know what I mean? And thank God that I learned at such a young age that I had so many of those when I was young that by the time where I was just like, nah, F that, like, fuck that. Like, I'm not doing that no more. I'm going for it. Like, even if I suck at it or, like, I lose at it or it doesn't go my way, like, I'm going to just do it still. You know what I mean?
It's a lesson.
Yeah, it's a lesson for sure.
You just grow from it.
And at the end of the day, like, some of the things that I did like that, I did them by myself. You know what I mean? Like one that I kind of never talk, right? So like there was this like cipher that people used to do like on YouTube like back in the day, and it was a great like platform, right? They invited me to do a verse, right? But when
do you know what a cipher is?
I don't know.
Okay, can you explain what a cipher is?
A cipher is like when they have a group of like rappers and like you just going back and forth. Like so I'll rap a verse and then I'll finish and then
Think
kind of like a
Pitch
BT
Perfect.
cipher.
Yeah.
So long story short, ciphers were like the thing that was going on YouTube or whatever. They told me to pull up and like I pulled up by myself. And I had this dope verse in my head, you know what I mean? I was gonna say it perfectly. I had rehearsed it. And when I got up there, I blanked out. Like on some like what on some Men in Black like you know what I mean? Like I forgot it all. Like and I just started trying to do something else and it just didn't work. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like for a while, like I used to be like, damn, like I messed up that opportunity. But then at the same time I was like, I still tried to do what I do. You know what I mean? Like at least I didn't be like, oh no, I don't have anything. I'm just gonna move on. At least I tried to like rap something. You know what I mean? And it was like this experience where I was just like, I was so vulnerable to the situation that I was just like, whoa, like, okay, if I can look dumb and stupid in this moment right now in front of all these people and still get up and go do my thing, excuse me, like I can do it. I can do anything, you know what I mean? Like I don't have to like trip about stuff. Like at the end of the day, like a lot of the stuff that we really trip about is stuff that's not even hasn't happened yet, you know? So like.
I'm like, damn, does he know us?
I know.
I'm like, calling this out right now.
Yeah, I'm like, I definitely forgot about everything. I overanalyze everything. I'm always like thinking of like, oh, well, if I do this, what's going to happen? What's going to be the outcome? Like everything.
And I definitely used to be more like that growing up. I think I've gone through so much in the last just like 3 years that have completely changed me. My perspective is different. And I'm like, now I'm very big on like paying it forward. So with her, like, this is my baby. Like, I will protect her at all costs. So now I'm like, bitch, no, like, do this, like learn from me and change. And little by little, I feel like you are kind of like growing out of that.
Yeah. And I think just last year I went through some stuff too that this year I was like, you got to focus on you. And that's what that last year is what made me realize, like, if I'm not doing it for me, then why? Like, it's pointless. So it's like this year I'm like, I don't care. It's about me. It's about like what I want to do. So
how much do you think, like, because you said you have your own business.
Yeah.
Right? So how much do you think that like influenced that
so
thought process?
I think at the beginning my mindset was at the right place, but I think it took a toll on me once I started working. So when I started my small business, it was COVID. I had just graduated from college. It was hard to get a job. I had just gotten I had an internship, I had all this, but I didn't really have like that experience. And especially with COVID, they weren't hiring people, they were laying people off. Sure. So I was like, I've always been someone who like, I have the entrepreneur like mindset, and it's been a goal of mine. So I literally was like, all right, if there's no job for me right now, then I'm going to this is a time for me to just say, fuck it, and like do my business, go for it. And then I'm someone who, if I don't know it, like I'm going to learn how. So I did like everything, like registering my business, getting my EIN, finding out my seller's permit, where am I going to go? I was doing the web design. I was doing like everything. Like I was like, if I don't know how to do it, I'm going to learn how to do it. And luckily my dad does support that. So him supporting me, it helped a lot. And it did very well at the beginning. But I think I got so consumed, like once it was doing well and then I started working, it was a little bit hard for me to balance because I wasn't like in that mindset. And on top of that, I was dealing with my own stuff that I was like, oh my God, how am I balancing this? Yeah. So I kind of lost track a little bit. And even though I was doing good, once I started working, I kind of lost my purpose. I was selling things to sell and make the money, but it wasn't things that I liked. And it wasn't the quality that I wanted to put out. And I was rushing it because I was like, damn, people are expecting this from me. They want to know what's next. But then my mindset wasn't there. I wasn't able to go because I was working. I would get stuff like delivered. I couldn't feel the quality. And it's like, why am I going to put this out there if I don't like it? So then I would lose so much money. And until this day, I still have inventory like in my house, So then that's when I was like, okay, as much as it hurts me, I got to take a break and I got to like figure it out. Yeah. So then after that, I did leave that like environment, my old job. And now luckily I'm with like a company that I love and I have a little bit more flexibility. And now I'm at that mindset where I'm like, all right, let's pick it up. Let's rebrand it. Like it's still there. I still have everything. Everything is good. So that's where I'm at. I'm like, okay, now it's time. I'm in the right mindset, kind of redo your business plan and go from there. So that's like where I'm at right now. But I think it did help a lot with, again, I'm like a very shy person. I'm like very like, oh, I don't know. So when I met all of these vendors, customers, I'm like, damn, people are really like out here supporting and buying from me. I was like, oh, this is different. This is weird. Like we would be at pop-ups and like, or I would be somewhere and people are like, reaching out to me like, oh my God, Melly, like you are such like an inspiration. I'm like, what? Me? The fuck? Like why? And then
I tell this bitch every day that she's like a role model to me.
Like it's crazy. But like, and like I told her, I was like, cause I guess at a moment I was like, fuck it. Like if I'm not going to believe in myself, who's going to believe in me? You know?
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's why I did it.
And that's how it starts. I mean, like, for a while, like I had jobs all the time or whatever, but I was always a hustler, you know what I mean? And then, I have always been, so my side hustle has always been curating vintage and curating a lot of like different pieces because I also did like a lot of styling for a lot of artists and stuff like that. And then a lot of my jobs were in Melrose and I was just around the fashion world, like the entertainment world, you know what I mean, for a while. And that was my business and that still is like, and when I decided to like stop working like 2-3 years ago, like an actual full job, and I was just like, not only do I need time because I want to do what I want to do, like being able to like be an artist and like go to the studio all day. Like today, like we went to the studio all day, you know what I mean? Like being able to do that, having that freedom, even if like right now, like the business is not making me rich, you know what I mean? Like I'm not like buying houses or whatever we do, but like it's giving me what I feel like is the most rich, which is like my time, you know what I mean? Like, and being able to like say, okay, fuck it. Like, at least for right now, like you're able to back yourself up so you can do these things. And having that mentality and having that like feeling of like, shit, I'm the boss, you know what I mean? Like, and not only that, but like, I'm not going to make no money if I don't put the work in, you know what I mean? Like, and I would rather work 24 hours a day for myself than work a 9 to 5 for somebody else. You know what I mean? Like, because I did a lot of like sales work. You know what I mean? A lot of, because a lot of closes, a lot of sales work. And I was making a lot of people a lot of money. You know what I mean? Like, because I know I have like the gift of gab. You know what I mean? So I can talk to people and all types of people. Yeah. And I know I can make them like see something and be like, oh, I need that. You know what I mean? So now that I like put it to myself and like really doing this for myself, like I see that more, like that comes back to me, like this reciprocity or whatever of like putting it out there, like I'm getting it back. You know what I mean? And that's what I would just tell you, like, is just like, if this is like something that you really want to do, like, or whatever, like, or that you really feel like this is what it is, like, even if you have 1 or 2 hours a day, then those 1 or 2 hours should just go for it. You know what I mean? Like, because even when I was doing stuff, like, I'll say, fuck it. Like, I need to give it some time, whatever it is. Even if I wrote like 5 bars, or maybe if I even just wrote a couple words, but like for those next time, like the next week when I would go to the studio, I needed a word. I had a word that I did doing that work. You know what I mean? Just always being around it, I think consistency is what gets people to like do stuff. Like what we were talking about before the podcast about like people who talk so much, you know what I mean? Talk a big game about like, oh, I'm going to be doing this, I'm going to be doing that or whatever. And they spend all this money on equipment and stuff, but you don't see them do anything. You know what I mean? Like, and then there's a kid with an iPhone, like maybe a iPhone.
Like us recording at my house.
You know, but just wanting to do that and getting it out there is just like people would rather respect you just doing it more and more and more than just saying I'm doing this. You know what I mean? Like, and I mean, even me, like, even as me saying that, whatever, sometimes I lose it, and like I have to tell myself that again, like, like it doesn't just put it out. Like, what are you gonna lose? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, like, what do you want to be like buried with all this music or like buried with all this stuff? You know what I mean? Like, nah, like let the world enjoy what you create. You know, like
it is scary though. Like I remember when we recorded our first episode, we were like, oh, son of a bitch, like we're really about to fucking put this shit out there, and we're like, once it's out, that's it. Like, we're opening the floodgates. So it's not an easy thing, but like if you really want it, you just got to say fuck it. And that's literally what we're doing with this podcast. Because literally people were like, y'all, like, more so her. They were like, you're doing.
They're like, what the hell?
They're like,
you don't talk about anything.
No, literally, but I don't
you're
know.
like, I'm saving it for the podcast.
Right? I know.
But we always say, I could not do this by myself. I would not do it if I had to do it with someone else. Probably wouldn't work. This is the only person I could do this with. This is like my like safe safety net.
Yeah, same.
No, that's dope. That's dope.
Tell him you love him. Tell him you appreciate him. Okay.
That takes us into. Oh, it went down. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, so now we just want to ask you some random questions. It's just going to be a little like speed round random questions. If you could have any superpower, what would it be and why?
Flying for sure.
Oh, okay. And why? LA traffic.
I don't know. I guess because like even like with airplanes, you know what I mean? Like people were so scared of airplanes, but I love it. It's so crazy.
It's a no for you?
No, it's so crazy that I think I'm like maniac with it because I even like the turbulence. Like it's weird because I think that might be because like
are you okay?
But no, just because the way that I see it is just like, damn, like we're living in a time where we're able to get into this thing and get in the like fly. You know what I mean? Like what the like
my brain goes to like we're about to die. Holy fuck! And you're like,
well,
awesome.
Going to that, have you ever jumped out of a plane?
No.
Oh, but we have.
How is that? How's that experience?
Oh my god.
You have to experience it.
Like there's no words.
No, literally. And the funny thing is, I feel like we always said, well, I've only told her like I'm so down, but no one in my family thought I was good. My dad was like, my whole family thinks that I'm like this little scaredy cat that doesn't like to do anything. Little do they know. I was like, I'm gonna jump out of a plane. My dad was like, sure you are. I was like, I already paid. Literally, we went together. I didn't feel shit. The whole ride up, even she was confused. She was like, bitch, you're not scared? And I was like, I don't know why. but I'm fine. And I was like, I'm going first.
You pop some antidepressants or something.
Bro, and literally, I was like, oh, I'm about to like take a shot before we go. And they literally specifically say like, you can't have alcohol in your system, whatever. I was like, fuck. But I think it was just a long day. We're like, I'm just
we
over
were
it.
the last ones. We're like,
Yeah, I was like, I was dehydrated.
Starving.
I was starving. I was in a bad mood. I was like, just get me in this fucking plane so I could jump out. But literally, once you're up there, you're just like, fuck. Like, I think
It's
in
like
that
crazy.
moment, I felt like I could do anything.
Yeah.
Like, after that, that helped me with like, bitch, what are you scared of? You jumped 12,000 feet.
Yeah.
Literally.
we're like, now take us higher.
No, yeah, that's our next goal. 18,000.
Yeah.
No, that's something for sure that I want to like try. Same with like I know this is gonna take it somewhere else or whatever, but like super crazy psychedelics. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm
like.
Mom, I hope you're not watching.
I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
we have not done these things. You know what I mean? I'm talking about like a hypothetical of like wanting to do whatever.
Yeah.
Just because I mean,
too.
of all these things that people like talk about, like even with like ayahuasca and stuff like that, or like DMT. You know what I mean?
With what?
Ayahuasca.
I don't know.
I
what
heard of that
is.
because of Kim.
So these are like psychedelics that are like
Kim.
that you can like either like take or like smoke or whatever that basically like gives you these experiences. You know what I mean? And a lot of the people who I like follow whatever like or that like I respect in an intellectual way or whatever, they say that they take these things and it's just like you know what I mean? Like my brain is already
Yeah,
you know what
I feel
So,
like people are so enlightened when they're on those.
Yeah.
Like it just opens up like their third eye or whatever.
Yeah.
And they like
that's literally
see some real shit.
But I think like even with, so going into alignment or whatever, like a lot more people are open now. Like I feel like a lot of more people are on the same page or like trying to understand the more. You know what I mean? Because it's just like like a lot of the things that are going on right now. Like a couple years ago, people used to look at us, people who like believe in stuff, whatever, as like crazies or like conspiracy theorists or like, no, that can never happen. But now we're starting to see all these things coming out into the world. Like we're just like, okay, like start opening up that mind because a lot more stuff is happening. Like, and I used to always say this. I used to be like government, like I used to want to tell the government, like, look, we know that y'all know that we know that y'all lying to us.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, we are tired of these lies. Like, let's go to the next level. Cause like as humans, we need to progress or we need to like know more. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, okay, like there's crazy things going on in this world right now. Like, I'm just like, fuck it. Like, just be open to more things and like being able to like, but I feel like a lot of people are more like that now. Like they're more like with the idea of like, okay, like we're seeing it. You know?
I honestly think it's because of social media.
Yeah.
Because it connects just everybody. And then people are like, oh shit, I never thought of it in that way. Whereas before social media, like back to like our parents, whatever they were fed by the news, that was it. That's what they believe. Till this day, my dad's like, oh, you believe that? And I'm like, yes. And I'll be like, look. And he'll be like, oh shit, like fuck.
Yeah, for sure. Like the actual evidence comes out or whatever. And I think I was just talking with Zeke a couple of days ago or whatever, or like a week ago. Like I was telling him, like, there's two types of people, right? There's the people who believed it and the people who denied it, right? And when the truth comes out or whatever, the people who believe it, like, we're not going to make such a big deal because we already knew it, right? But the people who didn't believe it are not going to be like, oh, you guys are right. Nah, they're just going to stay quiet. You know what I mean? So there's not going to be that much talk or like, even with like all this like spy balloons or like UFOs or stuff like that or whatever.
The
like
pigeons.
Like, it's like, okay, people, they're the people who you say are right all the time, like the government or people who are in control, they're the ones telling you it's real. Like, now what? You know what I mean? So it's just like, okay, like, and I don't know. That's why I like talking about the paranormal, like what I do too. You know what I mean? Like, it's just something that's just like, okay, cool. Like, I just like seeing and talking about more than what there is. You know, like, I don't know. I think it gets like people thinking more in a sense.
So another question we have for you is, what's your go-to or guilty pleasure song?
Ooh. Guilty pleasure. What's the name of that song? It's okay. So
Song.
So-
Yeah.
That one's the new one.
No. Nah. It's actually so it's funny. It's
That's just fire.
it's by Sun by 4. You said I was great.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was like, wait, what?
So,
Mis ojos lloran por ti.
yeah, mis ojos lloran por ti. Yeah, because I mean, I guess because it has a story. Because every time that I hear it, like it takes me back to like when I was a kid, right? And that was the first time I heard like Spanish rap or like somebody saying it's like doing you know what I mean? And I was just like I was so intrigued with it, you know what I mean? Like and it's still to this day it still hits like and at the same time I guess like Bone Thugs was happening too, you know what I mean, in hip hop and they kind of had like a similar flow like the fast flow, so I was just like, and so now that I hear it, it's still a hit like to me like.
Bro, that comes on at a party, anything. Really? We going off. Our friend Leslie, word for word, always. Bar for bar.
Yeah, my homie, me and Wills, he loves that song too, like me and Wills. So every time we in the club or we hear it, we're just like like looking at each other, like singing it, like sing come on.
Like if you know, you know. The part. Okay, sorry. What time do we have the thing till?
Until 8.
Oh, period. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. And then, so another question we have for you is, do you like pineapple on pizza? Explain.
And there is a right answer.
There's
I'm just saying
right
right
answer.
now.
So
It's a yes or no, my guy.
He's trying to
it's a yes and no because sometimes I like it and sometimes I don't.
Oh, but you do. But like you'll eat
But
it.
I'll have it. Yeah, I'll have it. Like if it's there, yes, I'll have it. You know what I mean?
Period.
But I'm gonna be honest. Like if there's no jalapenos on the pizza, like I don't know.
Wait, pineapple and jalapeno. Yeah, that's
you know
fire.
what I mean? Like so.
Yeah.
Fight us.
I know.
Wait,
we
what
love
about you?
On pizza.
Pineapple on
pizza.
Pizza.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
okay.
He thought about it. He was like, hold on.
You said no, you gotta go.
Oh,
With mango?
I think I have had that.
And then I had guacamole with fucking
He said.
Guacamole with pomegranate.
Oh, that
I mean, I
that
guess- I
haven't
guess-
had.
and sweet that plays off of each other, and then you have like that.
I feel like that'd be fire on like avocado toast with
Yeah.
like some pomegranates.
Now you know what? Like I've had salads like that. That has all that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Or like ceviche
Oh,
with
yeah.
mango. That's
Yeah,
like my
oh,
favorite.
oh,
yeah.
aguachile.
And, yeah.
Yeah.
And no chile ceviche.
Yeah, fire. Okay, we can continue.
Okay. If you were arrested, what would it be for?
Or maybe we should have him to answer.
Public decency.
Moon. I'm surprised we haven't been arrested for that.
Yeah, probably doing some like crazy like stunts like in public or something like. Nah. I'm talking about like,
Explain.
like going to the cliff or something, or going to like back in the day, like to like Griffith Park and like parking somewhere. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I'm like, oh god, I know exactly what.
I was going to say something to kind of expose myself.
Oh god.
We're on camera, girls. We're on camera.
That's why.
The Theas are watching.
We're cutting this out.
Okay.
This is all entertainment, you guys.
I'm just kidding, Thea.
What's your favorite movie and why?
Ooh, favorite movie. What is my favorite movie? How High.
Why?
Have you ever seen How High?
I don't know.
No.
No, you haven't.
No, it's a older movie.
I don't know.
Why? I guess because like fashion Wu-Tang like Method Man and Redman are like the protagonists or whatever. The
Do you know who they are?
Yeah, that I
Wu-Tang,
know.
yeah.
But I'm like, let me look up how what's the cover look like?
So just to tell you about the story, about the movie or whatever, it's basically about these hood dudes that like had a friend or whatever, and the friend died, like something happened or whatever, and he goes, okay, when I die, you guys can smoke me, right? Put me in a blunt or whatever. And long story short, they do it, you know what I mean, to like for his name or whatever.
Yeah.
And he shows up to them, you know what I mean? And he goes, you guys need to like get your life straight, you know what I mean? You guys need to go to college, take your SATs and all that, right? So he's like, matter of fact, you guys can smoke, and I'll be in the class with you guys, right? And I'll just tell you the answers. Long story short, like they get like perfect tests and like they get accepted to Harvard, you know what I mean? So it's like these hood ass motherfuckers going to Harvard, like smoking in Harvard or whatever. And then there's like this like famous like scene or whatever, like they throw a Halloween party and they dress up as nuns. You know what I mean? So when I was younger, I was like, if I ever get to go to college, and I did go to college, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna dress up as a nun, like with a blunt in my, I mean, like, shades on or whatever, like, and I'm gonna be how high, whatever. So that was something that I always wanted to do, and when I got to the point where I was at college or whatever, I did it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, like,
Really gave it.
yeah.
Where'd you go to school?
Yeah, it was.
UC Riverside.
Oh, okay,
nice.
yeah.
What did you study?
So I got a major in philosophy and a minor in business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I was doing business for like 3.5 years, and then I got bored.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're
then-
both business majors.
Yeah.
USC.
San Francisco State.
Oh, fire.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we always have to have like the business behind it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but I also wanted to get my philosophy like little paper or whatever, because I knew that I was going to want to talk some like crazy shit. You know what I mean? So now they can't tell me like, oh, you crazy. Nah, I got my paper.
No,
you know what I mean?
literally.
Yeah,
I'm
like-
certified.
Yeah, like, come on.
Don't
Try
blame
me.
him. Be ready. Okay. So, how was your childhood growing up?
I mean, I guess like from, do you want like a looking like into it or like like actually, because if we look at into it or whatever, like from an like a outside perspective view, whatever, like it's kind of crazy because like we do live in the hood, you know what I mean? So like there's all these things that for us end up being normal, you know what I mean? Like even like just like getting banged on or whatever, it's like at the end of the day, like it starts being normal, you know what I mean? So like when I like as I'm growing up, okay, like it to me it's normal, you know what I mean? It's a regular childhood. Like I was able to like experience like my cousins, you know what I mean? Like we always had a cool like big family, so we always had like family parties. Like I mean, you seen like we always have a lot of people over when we
literally.
parties or whatever. And I mean, being in a Mexican and Guatemalan household or whatever, like it's kind of weird because like I don't know what's Mexican and what's Guatemalan. You know what I mean? Like not until I got older, because for a while like I used to think like, oh, that's a Mexican dish, but it was a Guatemalan dish. You know what I mean? So or when people would ask me like, what does your mom make, Guatemalan or whatever, and I would say some Mexican dish, they would be like, no, like, you know what I mean? But I think like growing up, it's what you make of it, like, and it's how you take it. You know what I mean? I've always been I guess a leader. You know what I mean? I always felt like I was a leader, like more than a follower. So that's why I didn't really get into like gangs and stuff like that, which was the easiest thing to do, like where we're from. You know what I mean? Like, especially because my cousins are from gangs. You know what I mean? Like not only that, but like a lot of my friends are from gangs. And then the crazier part is that I went to high school on the other gang's territory. You know what I mean? Or I went to school in the other gang territory from where we live at. You know what I mean? So it was just like, okay, like I know for a fact like all this thing is gonna happen, but for us, like, or for the people who live around it, like I said, it was normal. You know what I mean? Like, it's just something that you have to do, like, or you don't know until like you start seeing other people's like things. Like when I got to college and like I would talk to other people who didn't come from that type of environment, and I would tell them like I would be like, look, sometimes like I would have to go the long way so I can avoid doing some stuff. You know what I mean? Like, or getting looked at by a couple people. You know what I mean? And they were like, whoa, what? Like. I'd be like, yeah, sometimes I jumped over people's like backyards or whatever, like to get to my house, just to get to my house, like without having no type of like problem, you know what I mean? Or some type of like stop or whatever. So as far as like, I can't complain about like my childhood because like my family or whatever, they're amazing. Even if I had to fight for who I am, you know what I mean? But at the same time, they're amazing people, you know what I mean? And then my environment, like my community, like you got to do with it with what you can do with it. You know what I mean? Like, and if you do get around and you do end up going the other route where like you get in gangs and you start doing this other thing, then that's the path that you chose. You know what I mean? But I mean, I knew everybody. Like I knew everybody from all sides. You know what I mean? So it was just like at the end of the day, like I want to see more. You know what I mean? So I guess like that's how I grew up. Like
you mentioned like being seen as like the other and. College, I feel like that was the first time I was ever seen as the other, especially going to USC when people were like, oh, where are you from? Like icebreakers. And I'd be like, people would be like, oh, I'm from LA. And I'd be like, I'm from Inglewood.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time someone was like, isn't it ghetto there? And I was like,
no.
I mean,
It's literally,
I'm like, I mean, technically, but that's all I know.
Right, exactly.
So like to me, it's like,
I know I had Inglewood always up to no good. I was like, I looked at the person like, oh my God.
Like, that just shows ignorance.
Like,
to
I was
me.
like, this bitch.
But like, I kind of love it.
But
now.
it was
like,
I
bitch,
mean,
I'm smart. Bitch,
Yeah.
I went to
Yeah.
USC.
Exactly.
Like, talk to me nice.
Exactly.
And like, there's so many people that come out of not just Inglewood, Lenox, but like other like inner cities that are doing amazing things
Yeah.
that are literally leaders for their community in school, just going above and beyond. So yeah, I kind of love that I grew up in the neighborhood that I did with people that look like me. And literally, I always get so sad when I see like all the construction. Now that SoFi is up and running, now that they're building the Clipper Stadium, like it literally makes me sad.
Yeah.
Like when the first time I saw a white person walking a dog at night, I literally texted and I was like, "Bitch, what's going on?
Yeah.
I don't like it."
Yeah. The crazy thing that you're talking about, like all the construction, when COVID started or whatever, like I was just like, I need to get out the house, right? And we had all these bikes in the backyard, and I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go bike around everywhere. And I thank myself for that because like it gave me the ability to see everything still how it was for a little while before everything just like it's gone. Like it's completely different where it's at now. Like it's like and I took videos and all that, and I was just like, oh, this is never gonna be like this no more. Like my kids or like my kids' kids, they will never even know what was here before. Like they don't know that in the Clipper Stadium there were crack houses. You know what I mean? Like literally, like
I'm like,
church is chicken.
I was like, that was my shortcut to get to her
Yeah,
house.
all the time. Take one.
Yeah. I'm like, bitch.
I know.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's
Now you
Think about that.
exposing
I
what
know,
the
I
streets
think
we live
about
on.
it. I know. Literally.
I'm like, fuck, what questions we ask? Oh, okay. How old were you when you knew you wanted to make music? I know you kind of touched on it a little bit, but when was it when you're like, I'm gonna pursue this?
so I think I was in like middle of high school, like so the way that I transitioned into like from like the little corridos and stuff like that, like when I was a little kid to like actually wanting to do hip hop was in my high school, shout out to Hawthorne or whatever. Like they used to be these dudes that used to rap, right? But it was a lot of like black dudes, you know what I mean? Like that were just doing the ciphers, like the circles or whatever. And I used to be like, damn, it sounds dope. And I was like, I know I can do that, right? And one day I went to the cipher and they looked at me funny. And they were like, what are you doing here? Like, you're not black. You know what I mean? What are you trying to do? And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, now I'm going to show you. So what I did is I wrote a cool little rap with, like, I don't know exactly what it says, whatever, but it had a lot of metaphors and a lot of bars, and a lot of punchlines, stuff that I was just like, okay, I know for a fact, like, this is going to hit and they're going to know. You know what I mean? So the following day or the following couple of days or whatever, like, I went back and I spit it. And everybody looked at me like, what the fuck? And I loved that control, you know what I mean? I was able to control this whole circle, like, of people who I was looking at like, damn, like, y'all doing stuff that I want to do, you know what I mean? And when that happened, I was just like, okay, I can do this, you know what I mean? And when that happened, I was like, okay, like, I'm gonna start doing it. But I think when I got like a little bit more older is when I was like, when I was able to know a little bit more of the business and being like, okay, nah, I need to rent studio time. I need to get a beat. You know what I mean? I have to do this. I have to do that. But that was like, I think my first memory of like saying, oh, I want to do music, like for sure. Like I like how this makes me feel, and I like how it shows me in front of people. You know? Yeah.
That's crazy. Literally core memory.
Yeah.
Okay. So kind of going into that, like, so this is like a non-conventional like career path essentially, and you did graduate from university. So what did your parents think when you were like, I want to pursue music? Like, I got my degree, but this is what I want to do.
So the crazy thing is that like I told you, like I've always been around entertainment. Like even when I was like doing just like the more fashion stuff, like or like working on Melrose and whatever. And like I said, my personality is so different than my parents or whatever. They knew that I wasn't gonna do something traditional, but they wanted me to go to school. Like their whole dream was, I want my kids to go to school, like because we couldn't, you know what I mean? And that's the main reason why I finished school, because I was just like, okay, like my parents literally walked their asses all the way over here. You know what I mean? Like literally walked through the desert and everything to get to here. You know what I mean? So I was just like, excuse me, like their only dream is this. So why not? So what I did, I was just like, okay, like, and I told them that I was like, I'm gonna do this, like, one, because I want to have the experience, obviously, but like two, because you really want this. It's not because I want to do this, because I know I can go and do something else and like get into the workforce, just do whatever, right? But like, and they respected it, and they said, okay, like, do it, and then you can do what you want. Like at the end of the day, you're gonna do what you want. So they started seeing like stuff that I was doing that wasn't the norm. You know what I mean? Like that wasn't like just a regular kid that says, oh, I want to do music, and then is just like in their basement, like writing raps, but they're not really doing nothing. Like I was actually like rubbing shoulders with people that they were like, whoa, like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, you're going somewhere. And especially like everything that I've gotten, like nobody gave to me. Like I didn't have anybody in the system, you know what I mean? Or I didn't have nobody in the game, or I didn't have anybody tell me, oh, this is how you have to do it. Like when I started writing music, like I didn't even know what a verse was. I didn't know what a chorus was. I didn't know how many bars or how many like lines I had to write per thing, you know what I mean? It was just something that I just felt, you know? So, and they, like I told you, they saw when I was a little kid singing and stuff like that. So they knew that I wanted to do something. And my parents have always been the type of people who are just like, if you're going to do something, do it for real. You know, like, and if you're going to do it for real, then don't give up on it. Like, and if you do that and we see you that you're doing that, then we're going to support you 100%. Like, especially like after I fought for my spot, you know what I mean? One core memory or whatever with that, it was like, as soon as I like finished school, I was picked up to go on tour on Europe. For like this.
Shit.
Yeah, like it was like a mixture of hip hop theater. So it was like a mixture of music with like theater and stuff like that, right? And I was able to go, and right before I went, like I pierced my nose, like I did all this extra stuff that my parents were like, "What the fuck?" You know what I mean? And I remember my dad being like, "What the fuck are you doing?" You know what I mean? Like, not only are you going out of state, I mean the country, like you're piercing your face, you're doing all this or that, whatever. And I remember telling him, I was like this was the first time, like I basically told my dad, I was like, look, like you're staying behind, like you with your mentality, you are staying behind, like, and it's never gonna benefit anybody here now, like, you know what I mean? Like with this idea that you got, like it is not gonna benefit me, it's not gonna benefit you, like it's just gonna put more like aggression between each other or whatever. And I think it hit home for him, because he then wrote me a letter, and he was just like, I want you to read this on the airplane or whatever. And all that. And it basically told me, he was just like I'm sorry, like you made me realize that I am staying behind. You know what I mean? Like I am sticking to how older people are thinking, you know what I mean? And it shouldn't be that. Like I know that you understand what is going on in this world right now. So he's like, I trust you, and whatever you do, like we will support you. You know what I mean? So it was just like, dope, like, yeah. And wow. Since then I was just like, everything that I do now, like they're like my number one fans. Like even if I'm like cussing like on a song, I'm saying chocha here and there, whatever. Like
just laughs.
Like it's to the point where like I shot a music video in Guatemala, so I went to Guatemala for like a tour for the Spanish stuff or whatever last year, and one of my songs was called Wild. And
bro, that's my gym song. That's my booty day song.
And I say chocha in there. I go some chocha, right? And it's so funny because like when I was shooting the music video out there, my grandma and my uncle had gone to Guatemala, you know what I mean, to see their houses or whatever. And they go, we want to go see you like perform or whatever. So I'm over here like doing the video and stuff, and I'm saying chocha and this and that, and I just see my grandma with her phone is just recording me.
You're doing great, sweetie.
Exactly. So it's like, it's funny because like at the end of the day, it's like, okay, cool, like yeah.
She doing the choreo and everything.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, cool, like everything that I fought for, or like believing in myself, like it got me to like, oh, now they're seeing stuff, you know what I mean? Like they're seeing it, they're understanding it, and it's just cool. Yeah,
I love that, and I love the like the perseverance, and more so you're like, I know I got this, like I believe in myself, and you kind of had to like almost prove yourself, like this is what I'm doing, because again, the Latino community, our parents, the old school mindset is like, if they don't see some like progress or anything like working,
Mm-hmm.
they're like, it's a waste of time. I told you so, blah, blah, blah. But the fact that your dad was able to be like, no, like, you're right. And for him to,
Like own up to it,
Yeah,
too,
and
like,
listen
write
to
your
you,
letter.
like,
Yeah.
that's amazing. That says a lot about your dad, but that says a lot about you, like the impact that you had.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, that's where I was just like, I'm gonna turn it up. You know what I mean? Like, and since then, like, I've been hitting it. Like everything I do, I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And I'm gonna show you. Like, I know when I step into a room, like, you're gonna turn around and see me. You know what I mean? Like, whatever it is, if you're gonna look at my braids, you're gonna look at my shoes, you're gonna look at my shirt, you're gonna look at my big ass jeans or something. You know what I mean? Like, you are going to look at me. You know what I mean? And I know that. So, like, that's how I get out of the house. Like, I get out of the house. Like, sometimes, like I even like play with myself. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, okay, what's the craziest shit I could put on, just so I can give myself that like, yeah, like adrenaline, like of like, okay, I know for a fact like this shit look crazy. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna make it look good. One and two, like I know people are gonna see it, but they're gonna respect it because they're gonna be like, oh, it's just him. You know what I mean? Like that's what he does or whatever.
They're gonna
like,
want to know who you are.
Yeah, exactly.
They're gonna be like, who is that?
And that's how I like stepping out every single day. I'm like just giving myself that energy boost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm just like, okay, yeah, like I want to do
love
that.
Can you talk about how you got into like the reggaeton space specifically? Like, and then you kind of talked about like you were into hip hop, but then you kind of touched on it a little bit. Can you just play into a little more like why a reggaeton or like the Latin music?
So yeah, so like I told you guys, like my little brother's the one who introduced me. Like he was just like, I mean, I already knew about it, like with Daddy Yankee and stuff like that, and like I knew what was going on, but I had never heard of Bad Bunny. So like like as much as you guys love Bad Bunny, I love Bad Bunny too. Like this is and this is a slogan that I like that me and my producers like I tell them or whatever. It's just like we are I am the product of the first time of like an American like born like artist is being influenced by the Latin world from the outside. You know what I mean? Like especially like in everything. You know what I mean? Like it's like we're seeing what you're doing now. I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna do it my own way. You know what I mean? From over here or whatever. So yeah, but it was more like the reason why I really wanted to get into it as well was for that representation of like who I am. Like I said, like in hip hop, we get to a point where like we hit a ceiling. You know what I mean? And it might not be because people like don't think you're cool or don't think like you have what it takes, but it's just like sometimes it's just the game. You know what I mean? Like that's just how it is. Type like I have some homies that are really really popping like Mexican like rappers, but they get to a certain point as well, you know what I mean? And they're just looked at Latino rappers, you know what I mean? Which is something I'm just like, man, I don't ever want to be like that. I want to be an artist. I want to be a global artist, you know what I mean? So, and not only that, but I want to represent and I want to show that we're cool too, you know what I mean? Like we Latinos, we are cool as fuck. Like not only that, but like this past year, we have taken over the world.
Yep.
You know, like, and we're gonna keep taking over. Like, we're barely going up. Like, it's our time to do this. So, like, I was like, okay, like, if I'm gonna jump into this, like, I have to represent myself, like, 100%. Like, thank God that I've always been fluent in Spanish. You know, like with my parents, like we always talked both Spanish and English. Well, mostly Spanish and my parents. But so I still had that in me, you know what I mean? But like when I started like trying to write music, it was a little harder because us that we speak English, like, yes, we speak Spanish, but like we think it in English and then we translate and comes out in Spanish, you know what I mean? So it was something harder, but it was definitely for the representation of my people, like, and showing like the younger crowd, like, nah, we're cool. We are cool too. Like, and we're here and we're not gonna move.
That
You know what I
part.
mean?
Yeah.
Taking over.
I know that literally kind of like goes into the like we had how was growing up Latino impacted your life and your career. But I mean that kind of sums it up. But yeah, how like has it impacted your life or your career in any other way?
Yeah. The crazy thing is that like I've been told that I have like an ambiguous look. So like when I grew up, like I was around like a lot of like African Americans, like a lot of black people, like I grew up with them, you know, especially with the hip hop environment and like the rap environment, whatever. So a lot of people used to think that I was mixed, you know what I mean? So it was never really a thing until they asked, or until like I was trying to do something. They were like, "Oh, what are you?" And then they would realize I'm Latino. You know what I mean? And it's not that something would change, but like something changed. You know what I mean? Like there wasn't that. For a while, like a couple years ago, like I was going up to these like big like companies and stuff like that, and what they would tell me, like what I would hear was like, we just don't know what to do with you, like right now, like you're amazing, your look is great, you're this and that or whatever, but like there was no market for the Latin market, you know what I mean? So now that the Latin market is all the way open, like it's like shit, we're a Costco now, like everybody's trying to come to us, like everything, you know. So it's like I guess that's how it helped, and like how it like not helped in the sense as well, but like and then at the same time it's just like, okay, I'm cool, like I'm cool being who I am, you know what I mean? So when they found out that, when they would ask me and they would find out I'm Latino, like I was so deep into like they already understood who I was, that it's just like, oh, it doesn't matter, like like, you know what I mean, you're us too, like you're a part of this, like. And I used to never see things like with like race, because like I told you, like I saw it as hip hop, you know what I mean? Like I'm a product of hip hop, like I was born a hip hop person, you know what I mean? Like even I could even say my religion is hip hop, you know what I mean? Like everything that I stand by is hip hop. So like I guess that's what it was, like growing with it, with like Latino wise or whatever.
Yeah. And then another question, I mean, we have for you, it's kind of like, which song of yours has been your favorite and why till this day?
Ooh. Um, yeah, that's out, or that has never been.
Well, I mean, I guess just like your answer, but
yeah.
I mean, we can, yeah.
Well, I mean, if you ask him, he probably has a like his favorites. You know what I mean? Like, he for sure has a lot of like couple different favorites. I have definitely some unreleased music that like that I love with all my heart. Like, there's one song that I kind of remember like that that it's like the first time that I really. I didn't think that I could sing, you know what I mean? Like, I knew that I could rap, like, and I could rap good, you know what I mean? I had a good tone, a good cadence or whatever. But I never thought I could really, really sing like that until, like, I started linking up with them, like Blue City. He's a real singer. Like, this guy's a real singer.
You got pipes?
Like he's a
No. He's getting shy.
Prove it.
No, but like not just like just saying because he's my homie or whatever, but like he's a really great singer. You know what I mean? So like when he started telling me, he's like, nah, I want you to get more singy. You know what I mean? I want you to do more melody or whatever. And he started showing me like my ability to be. He brought it out of me. Pause. You know what I mean? Like he really showed me this thing, like whatever. Like
he's blushing.
He's like, look at the proud dad.
Yeah, it's funny because I would be like, look, like I don't know if I can hit him. He's like, look, just do it like this, and he would break it down for me. Like he still does it to this day. Like he breaks it down, like if it's just like, because I'm very visual. I'm a visual learner or whatever. So he showed me visually, and I started like learning these whatever. So one of the first songs that I really sang, and I loved the way that I sounded and whatever. It's called "Pa Mi" or something like that. Yeah, and it's like this song that I haven't dropped it. I don't know if I'm just gonna drop it or whatever, but every time that I hear it, I'm just like, damn, like that's where I was like, oh, I can do more than just this, you know, like, but I guess that's the song. Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna have to
let us hear it.
Yeah.
That's your favorite one. Come on.
And then, like going into that, like, have you ever had a fan share like what your music like means to them, or like just had an interaction with like a fan? And if so, what did that make you feel?
Yes. I guess like in the beginning, like my little cousins, they were really like they look up to me because one like they're like the younger crowd, so like they're seeing like everything that I'm doing, like. No, we do that too. You know what I mean? Like they're especially like the younger crowd, like they have a whole different mindset. You know what I mean? So, those little cousins would show their friends a lot, right? So their friends would like hit me up and they'd be like, "Oh my God, we love your music. We love this. We love that." And there was one that would like told me they told me exactly what I started doing this for. He goes, "I look up to you because you remind me of somebody that I want to be like, and not only that, but like." you are Latino, you know what I mean? And like, you're like me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was just like, I love hip hop, but like, we don't really see like people that look like you that do it, you know what I mean? So, that's what I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I was doing it for. And when when like somebody basically told me like, we see that, like I was just like, oh, that's dope. That's super dope.
Yeah.
Especially younger, you like,
Yeah.
young
Yeah.
kid, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And it kind of goes into that. We just kind of want to know, like, what's your mission with your music? And it, like, I mean, it ties back to that, but like, what is your mission?
So if you see my catalog right now, you probably think that I'm like a turn up, like super turn up guy. You feel me? Like, or like I'm about the party and everything or whatever. But like, I actually have like, things that I really say. Like my name is Meta4 for a reason. Like I have metaphors. Like, and even if it sounds like something like so cliche or so easy to say, behind it there's stuff. You know what I mean? Like not only that, but like I pride myself in like knowledge. You know what I mean? Like I love to turn up. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. Like I'm about to fiesta. I'm about to party. Like everything. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like it's just like I just want to push like boundaries. Like especially now, like I just want to push boundaries of like worldly music and more than just like these smaller concepts. Like I just want to push stuff that like with the new song that I dropped called Sacapa. I don't know if you guys heard it.
Bruh.
Yeah.
On repeat always.
Dope, thank you.
Yeah.
That is a very like completely different like type of like sound that I was doing. It's more poppy, more worldly, more like
It gives me
EDM-ish.
like literally when I listen to it, I feel like I need to be on a trip. Literally, that's what I feel. Like I feel like this is to be in the next season of Euphoria.
Dope.
And then it like when the beat like kind of stops and it just pauses, just your voice. I literally think of that little boy, that meme that's like,
Yeah.
that's literally, yeah. But like, we love that song.
Yeah, it's so good.
Appreciate it. Like, yeah, that's the that's another song that I really, really enjoy that I did or whatever that's out or whatever. Because it's so different than what I'm used to doing, you know. And with that, like, it shows like growth and it shows like, oh, we're not just stuck in this little thing. Like,
You're versatile.
yeah, exactly. Like, and I want to show that. And I think like, so this goes into the next thing that I'm here for, I guess as well. Like showing like I'm gonna drop an EP, which is gonna be like a whole like roller coaster of emotion. You know what I mean? Like, well, that's how I tell him like my music is not just one emotion or one thing. Like I'm about everything. Like I go through it all. You know what I mean? So like this new EP that I'm about to drop pretty soon, like I think it's gonna be 420, right? April 20th. so the people
Stay tuned. Stay tuned, everyone.
I still don't have a title for it, but whatever. I have all the songs that I want to put on it. But like that is like shows like my versatility. Like it shows that I can go here and then I can go here. You know what I mean? Or and then I can go there. You know, like so like for me it's just like what I want my music to show is just like progression and like don't put me in a box. Shit. You know what I mean? Like because we already have so many more labels already in this world. I don't want you to put me in another label in my own artistry, in my own creation, you know? So I think that's what I want to do with my music, like show that.
Yeah. So aside from music, we know that you started a podcast.
Yeah.
Can you let us know what it's about and how it came about?
So, I mean, I guess you'd call it a podcast. It's more like I mean, it's just me. So like, I don't really see that as a podcast. It's more like me talking like, so the name of the podcast is La Verdad Se Habla. And it's a paranormal type of podcast or whatever. And it's on the UBNGO network with the big podcast that they run or whatever. It's called Truth Be Told. So I'm basically doing the Spanish version of Truth Be Told. And it basically happened because I was gonna do I was doing an interview for like my music stuff, right? And I showed up to this place and the guy who owns it, he was running the podcast or whatever. And when I was on the waiting room, like they were watching X-Files, right? And he comes out and he tells the guy that works there too, he goes, "You guys are still watching that?" And he goes, do you like watching that? I was like, actually, I'm a big Alien nerd. You know what I mean? Like, and he goes, "Oh, well, this is for you." And they're putting on like a festival, like a Parapod festival or whatever. And I did my interview, and then at the end, he saw how confident or how like I was good in front of the camera and with the microphone. And he goes, "Have you ever considered doing like a podcast or something like that?" Like, and I was just like, Well, yeah, like I wouldn't. I mean, I like talking about it, and not only that, but like I studied a lot of it. You know what I mean? So, um, he goes, just come next week and let's just chop it up, and just like let's see if you would like it, whatever. Long story short, like I went the following week, and we sat there for like 3 to 4 hours, and we were just talking about everything, and he was like super impressed, like of like the knowledge that I know, whatever. For a while, like I didn't really talk about it so much because when you start talking about these type of things, like to people, there's some people who like they will see you different, you know what I mean? Or like they'll be like, well, what's this crazy dude talking about? Or what's this or what's that or whatever. But like I told you earlier, like especially with all the stuff that's happening right now and like the evidence is coming out, I'm like, okay, now it's time to talk. You know what I mean? Not only that, but like the rabbit hole that I took 10 years ago, you know what I mean? Like now it's time for me to say all the things that I want to say, you know what I mean? Or that I know and that I know that are real. And now you guys are starting to see the evidence for it. So it basically landed on my lap. And the funny thing is that I have a clothing label too, like a clothing brand called Alien.
And I didn't know that.
So the logo on for the podcast, like it's like a green, or it's like an alien head, like, but it's a beautiful woman, like a woman,
I
alien
saw
or whatever.
it, yeah.
That's my logo, like, and like I wanted to show like femininity with it, with the alien, just to show like, yeah, that's the logo, whatever.
I have seen this. I
So
didn't know
basically
there was
the way that I like run it is like I talk about like different things that are here in this world, like that are for sure like I like talking with evidence. You know what I mean? So everything that I talk, that's why it's called La Verdad Se Habla, because everything that I'm talking about, you can for sure grab your phone and you can you can search it. Like cross check me, please cross me, please like tell me that I'm lying. You know what I mean? So I can really bring it. You know what I mean? So like it's just this other expression that I wanted to let out because it's another big part of me. You know what I mean? Like, so I've always been around it. You know what I mean? And I've loved it. So now that I have an ability to have this like this platform to just like talk about stuff, like right now I'm taking it mild still because I'm just giving people like background to a lot of stuff because I know that I know a lot of things that people don't know. You know what I mean? So to be able to like even think the way that I'm thinking or like putting stuff together, I have to give you the ground. Like I have to give you the stuff that I saw that literally messed up my head and said, oh shit, like there's more here than what we're just seeing. You know what I mean? Like or if the stuff that you're seeing is not what they told you that what it is. Like just do a little bit of Googles. You know what I mean? Like
Okay, well, we're getting close to the end, and we always ask our guests this question. So the name of our podcast is El Efecto, and the reason we named it that is because we are products of our environment and what we grew up, like it had an impact on us, and that's what El Efecto means. It means impact. So we just want to know, like, what does that mean to you, and how have to kind of summarize this whole episode, interview, conversation, like how has everything that's impacted you kind of just come into fruition?
I mean, I wouldn't be the person who I am with like anything that happened to me. You know what I mean? Like even if it was bad or it was good. So like I feel like all that impact, all that effect, all that happened in my life molded me to who I am. Like even being interested in like paranormal or interested in the music or interested in this type of music or being able to be open in this way or whatever. Like I feel like at the same time, I see it as like I want to make a big splash or like this big like you know what I mean, like effect in people. Like I want to hit them and be like, oh, like I was here for a reason. You know what I mean? Like I know that we as humans, we all want to be like living. We want to live forever. You know what I mean? Or like at least want our what we did to live forever. You know? And I'm big on that. I'm like I'm striving to like to have something that even when I'm like not here no more, like that's still there.
Your legacy.
Yeah, exactly. So like, and maybe it's like through like people learning or like seeing things that I did and they're like, oh, like he did that to the best possibility. You know what I mean? Or like he was a rebel, like, or he didn't give a fuck about what people told about him. Like he literally like sat in a conference room with people in suits and he came in baggied up, like, and talking to them like in a dialect that was not what they want to hear. You know what I mean? Like, I don't change for nobody. You know what I mean? So you're gonna take me how you take me. Like, I'm here. Like, and like I said, like I don't mold to any situation. The situation's going to mold to me, you know? So like that's what I guess that's the effecto that I want.
I love
Yeah,
that.
I
Honestly, I
know.
feel like you are preaching to us,
Yeah.
like literally telling us, like, be who the fuck you are,
Mm-hmm.
and you kind of have to be unapologetically
Yeah, I was
you.
literally thinking that. I was like, just gonna say,
Period.
Period.
No, when you were talking, I held it back. I was about to say period. I was like, let me hold back.
No, I love that. Well, do you have any final words for everyone listening? Where can they find you? And also, like, do you have any upcoming events where people can actually go and like support and hear you live?
That's what we're working on right now. Like we're working on, like I said, we're doing like we're finishing up the EP. So that's what I want to do for the first like quarter of the year. Just like get my this good body of work to be able to put out, like, because I feel like I have a couple songs out, but because I still feel like I'm a new artist because I only have a couple songs out. Even though I have like hundreds of songs that are unreleased,
Yeah.
nobody hears them, just me and him. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just like, okay, like with this body of work, I feel like people are gonna understand like the versatility that I have and like understand where I'm coming from. Understand that like, oh damn, like he can do it. He can do a lot of this. You know what I mean? If not all of it. You know what I mean? So, I just want people to take it and like just be open with it. Like just be able to like give yourself the ability to like feel. You know what I mean? And not everything is gonna be up here. Sometimes maybe it's gonna be really down here because of the emotion. You know what I mean? Like that emotion that brings out like even like we can be partying or we can be really sad. You know what I mean? Like, but at the same time, it's still life. Like, and so one thing you guys check out for the EP. Check out like the podcast. Like if you guys want to see a completely different side of things, you know what I mean. The merchandise is coming. But as far as like events, like we're getting all that stuff done after like these first few months of like the first year or whatever. But like especially after the EP is done, like you guys are definitely gonna see a lot of places that you guys can show up and like support and just. But please just support like anything that's out right now. Like Zacapa, you guys just go check out Zacapa.
Fire.
Yeah, guys, it's so fire. I showed it to a friend of mine the other day because I was just talking to her and I was like, dude, you need to listen to this. She's like, oh my God, wait, this is like really good. I'm like, yeah, it's so good. But
Appreciate it.
we'll obviously link everything below.
Yes,
like,
make sure you
link,
follow him. Everything.
And then your music, they can obviously on Spotify, Apple Music too.
Apple, yeah, everywhere.
Okay,
all
perfect.
platforms. We're on all platforms, even YouTube. Like if you just want to search the YouTube, I have a couple videos out. So if you guys want to go check it out, I have the video of Wild. We shot that in Guatemala. Like I said, we have Alterado Freestyle, which I literally shot down the street, like here in downtown
for real?
Inglewood.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
shit.
I
Good job,
have
Abusadora.
Abusadora.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
all.
I mean, no,
Yes.
I
I
love
don't know how I
Yeah.
just forgot about it. Yeah, but yeah, that's one of my babies.
Yeah,
Like,
that
it's like
song,
I love that song.
oh my God,
like,
it's
Yeah.
so good.
it's a perreo. It's like
Yeah,
a real perreo.
yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean?
With
Like,
Yeah.
we love music. We love dancing. Again, we grew up huge Mexican family parties. Like to us, it's normal.
Yeah.
Some people are like, "Damn, like that's a lot." We're like, "This is just every day."
Yeah.
Like,
Right. Exactly.
so like when I found your music, my brother was like, "Oh, this is The Neighbor," and I started listening. I was like, "I'm all about like the beat first,
Yeah.
because if I can dance to it, it's a rap."
Yeah.
So fucking. And then I started listening to what you're saying. I'm like, "Oof."
Yeah. Nah, that's where I love, like, cause I love the beat first too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what's gonna grab it. And he's a producer. He's the one who produced Socapa or whatever. So like like that's what I get. But like I love punchlines. You know what I mean? So like if you really gonna pay attention to what I'm saying some shit. You know what I mean? I'm really talking my shit. Like, and not only that, but like I'm really talking my shit to our culture. Because how we grew up, like even with like the Lil Wayne line, with like with the cup of like lean, you know what I mean? Like that's stuff that like you need context for, you know what I mean? And, like if you know, you know. So like, yeah, like that's all the music. You guys go check that out. Like,
Yes, make sure to support. We thank you so much for coming. Thank you
Yeah.
for even reaching out to us. I don't know if I can't remember if we mentioned it. I
Yeah,
think we
you
did.
did.
But thank you so much for reaching out to us and you coming because wow, we
Yeah.
want to support the community and also some people that we think are like
Yeah.
gonna be big.
no, but I appreciate you guys for having me here. Like, it's dope to see like more people doing like this type of stuff. You know what I mean? Especially like I mean, we literally fam. You know what I mean? Like, we literally grew up
across the street from
yeah,
each other.
literally across the street, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Like full circle moment or whatever. Like, but nah, I appreciate you guys having me here. Like, it was a great talk. Like,
Thank you.
hopefully we do it again. pretty soon.
Yeah,
Yes,
for sure.
we're gonna be there. Y'all better let us know.
Yeah,
when you're performing.
anything, we'll be there to support.
We'll
for
pull
sure.
up with the
Sure.
game. We'll pull up with the game.
Yeah, with
literally so we're Mexican, but literally our friend group, their whole family, they're Guatemalan.
Guatemalan.
Oh, fire.
Yeah.
So literally, it's just like.
Well, they're Colombian. All of them are
Oh,
Colombian.
I love
Yeah,
that.
they're
But yeah,
Colombian.
so thank you guys. We will see you on our next episode.
Bye.
Bye.
Deuces. Peace.
He said, switch.
All right.
So.
I'm dead. Okay, go. I want to see what this looks like. We're gonna clip this shit.
I'm unapologetically P.
Yeah,
And the P stands for
That was
periods.
Perfect. That was perfect.
All right. we're
Bienvenidos
here.
a otro podcast.
I know, like this is her little part.
All right.
So we are back.
With El Efecto Podcast.
Yes.
I go by Patty. I identify as Patty on El Efecto Podcast. It's hot. My shit got foggy.
Like,
How you doing it? These lights is crazy.
yeah, it's a little.
Yeah, that's all I got. I just met you.
Just that part.
He's camera shy. He's camera shy. That's what it
It's
is.
unapologetically P. I love that part.
That's for period.